Dear audience, in Munich and beyond Munich, in Germany and beyond Germany, welcome to the Artist Talk. After the performances, you should have seen me dancing and Elephant, shown at the dance festival in Munich. We will shortly soon talk to the artists Rabih Mroué and Ty Boomershine, who are already in the studio of the dance festival in Munich. My name is Martin Walter-Staub. I'm a dramaturg at Münchner Kammerspiele who is co-hosting this event with the dance festival in Munich. And it's a pleasure to welcome these two artists to our talk. And I really encourage everyone watching right now to join the conversation by writing questions on YouTube where this video is being shown live. There's a possibility to comment, and part of this artist talk is that you can communicate with the artists. So it would be wonderful if you wrote down there your questions and they will be fed into this conversation. Briefly, I would like to introduce my two guests. Rabih Mroué is an actor, director, visual artist and writer. He works at the interface of performance and visual art. In his performances, he often combines real everyday materials with fictional narratives, and he develops himself as an author and writer of his performances, combining aesthetics and political research. His work has been shown in all parts of the world. We know each other from collaborating at Münchner Kammerspiele, where he has shown most of his works in the past years, and we are very happy that you are back to Munich in the frame of the dance festival, Rabih. And our second guest is Ty Boomershine, artistic director of the Dance On Ensemble, which is featured at the dance festival and also collaborates with Münchner Kammerspiele right now. So we're glad that there are so many connections in Munich and among the three of us and the groups we represent. And welcome to this event, and thanks for joining this conversation.
Thank you, Martin. It's really great.
Yes, yeah, we are still apart, although yeah, we are joining this conversation. I should be in Munich with you. But perhaps since we are already talking about this distance and this attempt to being connected despite the distance, did it feel, how was it like today and preparing this format, knowing that there won't be an audience clapping, knowing that there won't be this resonance on the other part of the audience, especially Rabih, perhaps because the two of us had long discussions about the importance of audience as being a constitutive part of performing arts.
Right.
In which reality are we now? What does it mean for your work?
It's really strange thing, I have to say. But at the same time, it's an experience that it's good to do it. In fact, in my works, I have done a lot of performances where I talked with the camera, but at the same time, assuming that the camera is the eyewitness, which means that it's the audience. So I'm used to this. So with this piece, like it was almost like a kind of continuation with one distinguished or like one nuance that is different, that actually we can watch it later. Usually, yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like, so we did something and we watch it with the audience. It's nice. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
No, I mean, it also changes that now we have completely different forms of recording the shows and documenting also for, it's a different form of distribution. And as you're saying that then somehow you can discuss with an audience the screening of a film performance, which we wouldn't have done before probably.
No, what I wanted to say actually is that this experience is it's not something really new. It's just like with the Corona time, it's just like it was pushed to the extreme. But we experienced this before, like since the digital era started, and this when the social media and the internet started and the live broadcasting started, it's already there. And with the corona virus time, it's just like it was pushed to the extreme that all the people have had to experience that. Before, it was not for all the people to experience. They were not forced to experience. But now, like, and it was like a big surprise. Like for me, it was like a continuation. This is what I'm trying to say. So just like a continuation, it was like the same logic, which is like the logic says that it was like a reflection from many years, really more than 10 years, like how you can go out without using your body. Or like this is a question that now is relevant to dance, because the dance, we're talking about dance, and the dance is, the body is the essential thing for the dancers and for the dance piece. Although one can also argue with this point also. Maybe we can do a dance piece now with objects or whatever. Like, I don't know. Things are like pushing, and it's interesting. I'm not like I'm not against this. It's just like how to think about these issues and what questions that will bring us to the future, like how we deal with these things. It's like, what does it mean, like that now I'm not going out with my body. Actually, I'm going out, as you see now, with my image. So I don't need to take care of my body. I have to take care of my image now, which is like interesting. Bad, good, it's not the question. What do you think, Tai?
Yep.
No, because I also wanted to go. I say it. I'm astonished how positive you are about this time being also a moment for experimenting and finding new formats and new relations also towards the image and towards what can be streamed, distributed, and so on. Do you also, Tai, feel that it's a time of experiment in which we really have opportunities to find new things?
Well, it's a time of necessity, which, it's the mother of invention, they say. But I'm not sure that I agree with Rabih in that I'm not sure anything is actually new. We're just basically showing in a different way. I agree with Rabih. It's not a preference. It's just the reality of what it is. I don't prefer this to live performance, but I'm glad that we can at least do this, as long as it doesn't become a replacement. Absolutely. I don't think this is a replacement for the communal experience that people have watching live performance. At least I certainly don't experience it the same way when I watch streamed or recorded performances.
And what did it mean specifically for the two works we saw tonight? Did you have to reconceptualize certain elements of it, knowing that there is a camera instead of a public, or was it quite straightforward?
No, I think it's the same. We performed the two pieces as if there were an audience. We didn't change anything, I guess. Like it was very authentic to what we do, what we usually do. So, no. Otherwise, you have seen it now on online. Mm-hmm. You can see that, for example, how the shooting was, the filming was. It was all the time like general shot. There's no chops of the bodies, not close-ups. All the time you see the dancers on the scene, all of them, and this is part of the show. Otherwise, if we want to do an adaptation for the video, we could have done something else. Maybe we can start with the hand only, or with an eye or something. But this is another work, another concept done for the video. But now we are doing a dance piece that it's broadcasted online. So we have to be as much as fidel to the piece, not to do another piece and improvise another piece. Right?
And to also give the audience somewhat the point of view of watching the performance from the theater, so to speak, meaning that the camera maintains the same point of view as much as possible that you have in seeing the piece. So,
and you feel the space still.
Yeah, that was a conscious choice to keep it as authentic as Rabih just said to a live performance with a few changes in points of view, high or low, or it's more like if you had the chance to run around the theater and change seats. But otherwise, you're still seeing it from a theatrical point of view.
Yeah. Like imagine like there are 3 dancers on stage, and then the cameraman decide to go for one dancer because they are doing the same or whatever. But imagine this like the director who's doing the shooting, he decide like now it's not a trio, it's a solo. So it's another piece. How come? And who is doing the solo? He chooses one of the dancers, and so on. So this is like another concept to do. Huh?
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with what you described, both of you, of having this wide angle of seeing the whole play and the whole space, that we as an audience are still those cutting with our glance to do, like, deciding what we are seeing and what we are not, what we are stressing in our perspective, and that not someone else took over that responsibility in cutting it. Like, that would be a movie, that would be something different. But here, I felt very strongly that I'm still in charge of deciding where my attention goes.
Yeah.
And,
So,
yeah.
No, it's just like now I'm thinking, developing the idea of like the cameras, how they work tonight. It's just like we decided that imagine that there are like two people in the audience, and we are taking the position of their eye. Like, so there are like 2 cameras, but they are exist in the audience. So we switch between the 2 view of points, but not more.
And also, I mean, I like very much how you still address us, be it the audience in the space, which is not there, or behind our laptops, when bowing at the end. There was no clapping, but there was still this bowing, which was very strongly directed to us. Perhaps a second question from my side. I mean, the audience watching, you have the possibility to ask questions via the channel on YouTube, commenting there. I would like to ask you about the relation of the pieces we saw tonight, because they were created separately in 2018 and 2019. And what are the reasons to combining them also in that order, and what are the connections? I mean, perhaps the connections are in the process of creation and not that much in how we would interpret them.
Maybe I will leave the answer to Tai, because he's the artistic director. I did them separately.
Yeah.
But I personally, I'm not used to this idea that is in dance existed, which like you can do a short piece, and then you can combine like a soiree of 3 pieces or 2 pieces or 4 pieces, depends on the duration of each one. In theater, it's one piece. I'm used to this, but now I find this very interesting. Like to have like different pieces. It's like in cinema also, like you have short films. So on the same night, you can see like 3 short films or 4 or 2, etc. So, but then time maybe you can.
Yeah, I mean, Elephant was created, like you said, in 2018. Yeah. And we had this work already in the repertoire of the company, of the Danson Ensemble. And we wanted to work with Rabih again. And the idea of making a quartet came up. He liked the idea, he liked the dancers, and so he developed the other work, the you should have seen me dancing waltz. The time frame for it, I think, just came from a discussion of what do you want to make. He had already made an evening length piece for us called Water Between Three Hands at the beginning of the ensemble's formation. And so I think we agreed, both Rabih and myself, that we didn't want to go for that again, but the idea of making a half evening piece was interesting, so we could combine it with something. So it was not planned from the beginning to do it with Elephant. It just developed that way. We had Elephant, which was done as originally as actually first as a solo, and then as a duet, and now it's a trio. And so it was about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and waltz became also 30 minutes. So it was actually just practical.
And
we
thought, with five dancers.
Yes, with five dancers, yes.
We may say hello to Christine.
Yeah, Christine Kono. Hey, Christine. And yeah, it just became a practical point of view. We had these two works from Rabih that we wanted to show, and we thought we'd try them together, and it worked quite well. We've shown them in the other order before, and tonight we decided to switch simply because we could. So it seemed like a nice idea.
So yeah, I would like to go back to that, because that's somehow playful that you say the amount of dances change and also the orders. That, and Rabih said that's something that's not what you know from theater. And do you enjoy, like, how does it work? Do you come up with changing some of the parameters of the performance, or how do you adapt while running since the premiere, adapting the?
No, it's actually not only in dance, it's also in theater. I would also go for changes if I could do this. Like it's because I believe that the work, you decide to stop working on it, but it doesn't mean that there's nothing to do with it more. So it's still going on in progress. You can still work on it till you die. So this is why you decide, like, okay, let's stop and go for something else. Otherwise, like, you spend your whole life just. But I like the idea to change from time to time, like, or develop, or like, yeah, this is, maybe I was wrong with this part, I change it, or maybe if I push this a little bit or add something, it will be more stronger, etc. So this is something I don't fear, and I go for it. I'm fine. I'm open to all possibilities. I learned myself to accept this, not to be like this. Like, there's nothing.
A finished package, yeah, that it can evolve, like, let it evolve further.
We know with Rabih. Sorry, we
know
ahead. With Rabih that if we invite him to rehearsal, that it will change. So there's always a risk of having him come, and there's also an excitement. You know, we know that if he's in the room, that it's very possible the piece will change. For example, with Elephants, that now the two women that come in at the end, were there.
So we have 5.
Now it's 5.
Start with 1, then we end with 1.
Because they were in the room, and he thought, well, it would be nice if the piece restarted. And we even discussed the possibility of each time we do Elephant, we just keep adding a person. So the piece just keeps restarting. So, yeah, which is an interesting idea.
To do it in a longer loop then as well.
Yeah.
Since we are talking about, like, how the work evolves, I would like to go back to the start of developing the work. Rabih, perhaps first to you. I was wondering why you started, if I may ask, why you started drawing these bodies, these lying bodies. Is there, or what kept you doing it, especially for such a long time?
It's there are, like, things that I start to do without really knowing why I was doing it, but later I realized why. But this particular work, drawings, that started that from the idea that, like dead bodies, especially like from wars, migrants who dies, etc. So that when you take the corpse, I thought that the shadow or a trace of the dead body stays there. Why stays there? Because they are killed, and someone killed with no justice, it's what we call unfinished business. So their ghosts, their shadows still haunting us, they are still there. And this is what I started to draw, like sketches, like with a pencil. It's like with a pencil or chalk. So they're like shadows, and you really don't know, like really, it's a silhouette. And this was like a starting point. Like I showed these drawings to Tai at the beginning of our work, and we discussed like if we can start or taking these drawings as a starting point to do a piece, a dance piece. And this is how we started.
Yeah, we tried to do them very quickly, I remember.
Yeah.
It was really painful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is true. There were what, 317 of them, I think?
Something like this. Yeah, it's like a lot.
There's a lot of them. So we were flipping through them almost like an animation book, and me trying to go as quickly as I could from position to position, which obviously in the end didn't work. But that was sort of how it started, and then we filtered it down to the few that we've chosen to present on stage.
We're talking about elephant, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the piece of elephant, which is actually it's some at certain point it switches to another reference that we got. I had like, and I also showed to Tai at that time. We're still working as a solo.
Yeah.
It's a film by Alan Clark. It's called Elephant, which is what inspiring also for Gus Van Sant, which is also called Elephant. And this is why we decided to call the piece Elephant again, like for the third time. Maybe there's someone did something called Elephant. So this work by Alan Clark is really very, very strong, very inspiring, and it's non-linear work, and it's a pattern, but at the same time it's not repetitive, and it's very interesting. And this is also, you can see with the film of Gus Van Trier, Van Sant, sorry, I'm mixing up with another one. Anyway, so you can see all the shots, like mainly the traveling camera in the corridors, and like someone is walking. So we tried actually to find like a way how to can also do this in theater and with dance, with the bodies.
This guides me a bit to the whole world of references you're drawing on, and also your notion of, because the notion of text is very, very rich. You know, if you look in both evenings, we started talking about the drawings, then there's the text of the bodies and the memories and the pain and the choreographic languages. But there are also textual traces of when, especially about talking about the newspapers and the news layer or the radio layer. And I was wondering, what was your method to navigate all those worlds of different texts? And I'm not only talking about the spoken word, or also the other dimensions, or
that's yours. That's Walt's.
I will tell you something, like I'm not a choreographer, okay? So I'm not a dancer even. So what I do, and I love this, like I adore this with dancers, because like whatever I bring dancers, I don't know if all the dancers, but at least with dance ensemble, it's like whatever you bring them, they create something out of it, and it's always amazing. And it's, for me, it's like, it's not about like the body movements or like how they will dance, because they are like really great. So it's like how like to bring a concept and then they can move on it. So I bring concepts to them. I bring stories. I bring sketches, graphs, and they do. I don't know how to move. They move, and I watch, and we collaborate. We work together, and they are very generous. To be honest, very generous, and to tell you, like, there is something like a kind of a trust that it built up little by little, and this is how it works. Otherwise, it will never work if there's no trust. So it's something that I bring to them, then they bring something to me, then I bring something to them. It's like a ping pong, but it's not a ping pong only. It's something that developed and built up, but together. Like, it's like give me, take, and something like this.
Rabih tends to come with notebooks full of ideas, literally, and I think there are at least 200 and some pieces that weren't made. I guess easily in the rehearsal that are sort of left on the cutting room floor. Easily in the rehearsal that are sort of left on the cutting room floor. We could easily just go back and make the pieces that we. So there's a whole lot left that we could easily just go back and make the pieces that we didn't make without making something necessarily new. Also for You Should Have Seen Me Dancing Waltz, there were several pieces before it resolved into what it is in the end. And even then it was finished sort of on stage in Athens.
Right.
Actually. Yeah, there was a whole new section created suddenly. So it's yeah.
There's a bit of a sound delay, I think. That's why I was not reacting. Because I wanted to hear what you were saying.
Sure.
No, now I hear myself and the delay.
It was really interesting.
but it sounds like this could be also a concept, like the place we didn't do, and it's something that, as Rabih was describing before, from show to show can evolve further. So it's a never-ending process of things we could have done, which also can explode into even longer loops. No, but going back to this, to the text, this aspect of news, because this notion of how we have all this visual, but also sound bits, and Rabih, that has a big importance in your work of how we are constantly confronted with impressions, and what we can trust and what we cannot trust, and what is our relation to the political, what is our relation to the media. What did that layer mean for you in this specific work? Because the bits we hear, they are quite political, in a quite open way, I would say.
Right. Both pieces are like very deal with the same thing, but in a different way. And I see now, like when I watch them, that like there's like a liaison and a connection between them. There are like questions that haunting me, and I keep on reflecting on them, doubting, questioning them all the time with my works. It's in dance and theater and videos, even writings. I always keep them. One of them is like how to deal with violence in arts or in dance or in theater, like how we represent this, how the body react, or how the words works, how we present this and represent this to the audience. I think these are questions that there is no one answers to them. No one answer. Like there are like, it's a wide. And what I'm trying to do is not to answer, is actually to open the debate or like the questions. So with Valse, you should have seen me dancing Valse with this piece. For example, it's like, it's a double thing. I feel that that's the word missing. Anyway, it's a double thing. Yeah, it's good. it's a double thing. In one sense, like, you know, like art and like cinema, theater, when you see the result, you don't know how it is or how it is created. You think like, it's like, wow, what is this? But then when you see the process, you will be maybe disappointment. Like, for example, there is like films from Fellini, where you see like him is like just like giving instructions to the actors and the actresses, like, okay, now raise your hand, look to the left, put your hand on the cheek of the other, kiss. And they are doing, and of course, you see him behind the camera, he's giving all the instructions, they are just following him. And then when you see the film, you don't, of course, see the other side, you see this, and you, what is this? Really amazing actors. But they are amazing actors, nothing doubts about this, but it's like the process is not shown. So this is what we started in Vals, like to put this, like to say the movement, the description of the movement before the movement happened, like raise your hand,
Jump forward,
etc.
open your
Then you
mouth.
jump.
Yeah.
So you know the spectator hear the movement, imagine it, and then he see it or she sees it. And then you are disappointed or you are happier because you don't know how you imagine it. We did also a scene in Water Between Three Hands. It was a full scene, like how to please or to not to please the audience. Anyway, and there's another one also, like how to deal with the news itself, like the news. So how we can put the news in the piece itself. So this is the double thing that I was talking about, that there is like commentary of the news and commentary of the movement, and they are mixed together in the movement, not in the texts. I don't know if
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know
And
for you,
no,
Martin, but
no, absolutely, and
people
also
watching
that
us.
Yeah.
that by doing that, also you create also distance to what we are hearing as news. I'm not sure if you're still hearing me, but that there's a distancing of the news and what we see on stage, and that like breaks the, you know, what we are used to, that the media and the news is something like very affirmative and clear, and you know, it opens up what you, Rabih, were saying. It opens up instead of claiming something or making making the point of what we hear and we actually had heard before. So it's not because of what I was going to is that it's not interesting to discuss the political comments we are hearing, because it's about the structural relation of distancing what we hear on the political level by a choreographic space you open up. If you want, we know we can continue talking at length about this, but somehow we reached that point, which I liked very much, when the dancers and performers were enumerating what this was about, and we were always hearing yeah, and, you know, contradicting any attempt, which we all of us know quite well, that then in artist talks, it's the questions are raised: what is this about, or what did you want to say? And I like you answered that part of the conversation with that scene. So that this attempt to find these clear answers, that's not what's the performance space is for, and that the answer can only be affirming everything and therefore negating all. So perhaps by saying this, we talked about the process, we talked about how the things came together tonight, and we talked also about the importance of the camera and what you decided how to deal with it in order not to manipulate the work. I think that so we covered the key
Right.
aspects. And if I mean you're open, I'm happy if there are more things you want to share about the process, go ahead. But I also know that you want to meet the other artists tonight after the performance, so I don't want to hold you back.
No, I'm good. You have anything else?
No,
I'm quite happy that
Thank
we
you.
had the privilege to talk and to see the performances tonight, and that both of you and all you and the whole team is in Munich. And I'm very happy that there are so many connections between Dance Festival, Münchner Kammerspiele, and you, and that there will be continuation of all these threads, which is one threads. Fäden is one of the works the Dance Ensemble has been working with Münchner Kammerspiele. So there are many threads, and all will be continued. And as Rabih described, the work is not packed and finalized, but unfolding constantly. And we're glad that we can be part of that as an audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Walter noch da?